A room full of hungry reporters sat waiting with their microphones armed, expecting explosive quotes, quarterback controversy, and instant social media chaos. Everyone wanted the soundbite. They wanted him to ignite a war with Deshaun Watson, take shots at the critics, or bask in his own celebrity. But what they actually witnessed shocked everyone in the building. Instead of feeding the drama machine, Shedeur Sanders shut down the entire circus with cold, calculated discipline. He refused to give the media an inch, turning every single trap question into a masterclass on preparation and professional focus. Most young quarterbacks walking into this kind of media spotlight make the mistake of buying into their own headlines. But Shedeur exposed just how dangerous an athlete becomes when they stop caring about hype and start obsessing over the details. Before we reveal the hidden psychological shift that could completely alter the depth chart this season, drop the word focus in the comments if you believe Shedeur has what it takes to start, or type hype if you think the media pressure will eventually break him. Let us see who truly understands the mental game of football, because what happened behind closed doors at camp proves this situation is far deeper than anyone realized.
Before moving further, if you've enjoying this video, consider hitting subscribe. We're pushing toward 2,000 subscribers, and every single one makes a difference. Help us reach more football fans and take this community to the next level.
Shedeur made a pretty impressive run at it, to be honest. I think that he's probably played a little better than their expectations, I would say.
I thought I was going to get, a little different response, but, I think, my emotions got the best of me. And, my comments wasn't intending to go at any of the fans around in the city.
Like we've spoken about many a times, it seemed that old Todd Monken could not get over the $240 million elephant in the room.
Stepping up to a podium inside a professional football facility is never just a routine media availability. When an athlete enters the room carrying one of the most recognizable family names in modern sports history, that podium instantly transforms into a high-stakes tactical battlefield. The media members gathered in Cleveland did not come to hear standard answers about conditioning drills, stretching routines, or the quality of the practice turf. They walked into that room with carefully crafted narratives, fully prepared to exploit the slightest slip of the tongue, the smallest hint of frustration, or any offhand remark that could be turned into a nationwide controversy. They wanted Shedeur Sanders to complain about his position on the depth chart. They wanted him to draw comparisons between his time running the offense in college and the structured, demanding environment of an NFL training camp. Most of all, they desperately wanted a bold statement regarding the starting quarterback position, hoping he would take the bait and declare an open quarterback war that could dominate television debate segments for the rest of the summer. When a young player finds himself surrounded by cameras and subjected to that kind of aggressive questioning, human psychology naturally pushes them toward one of two common behavioral traps. The first instinct is defensive resistance, where the athlete becomes visibly annoyed, gives curt or sarcastic answers, and appears completely overwhelmed by the scrutiny. The second trap is arrogant bravado, where the player leans into their own celebrity, speaks with unwarranted confidence, and makes declarations that alienate the veteran players in their own locker room. Both reactions produce the exact sensational headlines the media is fishing for. Both reactions create instant distractions that coaches despise and teammates resent. What unfolded instead was a masterclass in emotional suppression, calculated discipline, and absolute message control. Shedeur stood before the microphones with complete calm, refusing to let his tone, facial expressions, or body language betray even the slightest hint of irritation. Every time a reporter tried to push him into a speculative corner or lure him into commenting on quarterback depth charts, he effortlessly redirected the conversation back to the unglamorous, foundational realities of the game. He spoke about the importance of footwork, the necessity of mastering basic protections, the value of learning route depths, and the daily grind of the installation process. By starving the room of sensationalism, he completely neutralized the media trap. This level of calculated restraint does not happen by accident. In the modern era of professional athletics, where a single 10-second video clip can circulate across social media and fracture a locker room before the afternoon walkthrough even starts, the ability to control your public messaging is just as critical as your passing accuracy or pocket awareness. A quarterback who cannot manage the media will inevitably lose the trust of the veteran leaders around him. By maintaining absolute composure and refusing to give the press an inch of drama, Shedeur demonstrated to the entire organization that his personal brand is taking a back seat to the team mission. In a demanding sports town known for intense scrutiny, keeping your head down and letting your preparation speak for itself is the ultimate survival strategy.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
That refusal to participate in media-driven drama sent a resounding message through every hallway of the team facility. It proved that despite the massive commercial endorsements, the social media following, and the non-stop national spotlight that tracked his every step throughout his collegiate career, he understands that none of that external fame carries any currency in a professional building. Instead of giving sports columnists an explosive controversy to write about, he handed them dry, disciplined facts about mechanical consistency and professional routine. That quiet refusal to take the bait demonstrated to the coaching staff that they are dealing with a mature competitor who will not create self-inflicted distractions. But keeping the media at bay is only the outer layer of establishing credibility inside a professional football organization. A football playbook can feature the most innovative passing concepts and brilliant route designs imaginable, but once the ball is snapped on game day, that entire schematic structure collapses if there is no unspoken chemistry between the quarterback and his receivers. During his media session, Shedeur brought up an aspect of his preparation that casual observers frequently overlook. He spoke in detail about the reps that take place long after the official practice period has concluded. When the coaching staff has returned to their offices, the practice field cameras are turned off, and the facility has largely cleared out. He explained how he deliberately seeks out his pass catchers to run additional routes, talk through subtle body language adjustments, and fine-tune spatial timing down to the precise yard. In professional football, mandatory practices only establish the foundation, while true greatness and seamless execution are built during the unrecorded, voluntary hours that nobody sees on television. When a young quarterback walks into a new locker room, veteran receivers naturally observe him with a healthy dose of skepticism. They have watched countless high-profile passers arrive with glowing reputations, only to quickly realize that those players lack the work ethic required to build real trust under pressure. When a quarterback takes the initiative to stay on the field in the heat, putting in extra manual labor to help his targets perfect their craft, the entire dynamic of the room begins to change. It establishes a powerful foundation of mutual accountability. A wide receiver who knows his quarterback is willing to sweat through extra sessions just to ensure that a 15-yard dig route is delivered right on the numbers will fight considerably harder on third down. It completely removes the split-second hesitation that ruins passing plays against tight man coverage. An elite wideout driving down the field into the teeth of an aggressive defense must have absolute faith that the ball will be released before he even makes his cut. That level of blind trust is not developed in classroom chalk talks. It is forged through countless physical repetitions when the building is quiet. What made Shedeur's perspective even more notable was his deliberate focus on working with every single pass catcher on the roster, rather than limiting his extra time to the established starters. He emphasized that every receiver, from the top options on the depth chart down to the undrafted free agents battling for a spot on the practice squad, receives the exact same focus, energy, and communication. That inclusive approach demonstrates an advanced understanding of how a grueling football season actually plays out. In a physical, collision-heavy sport where injuries can decimate an offensive unit in a single afternoon, the receiver running with the third-string offense on a Tuesday afternoon could suddenly be the player called upon to convert a critical third down on a frozen field in late December. By actively investing in the development and confidence of every single target, Shedeur is helping build a unified offensive culture where no player feels discarded or ignored. When every pass catcher feels valued and accountable to the same high standard, the overall floor of the entire offense is elevated. That dedication to lifting up the men around him reveals natural leadership instincts that cannot be faked or coached. However, investing in teammates requires a degree of personal honesty and humility that many young stars actively run away from. The history of professional athletics is littered with the forgotten careers of gifted young quarterbacks who arrived with massive fanfare, signed lucrative commercial partnerships, and found themselves out of the league within a few short seasons. When you analyze the underlying reasons why so many highly touted prospects fail to survive at the highest level, the issue is rarely a lack of raw physical capability. Instead, their downfall almost always stems from an inflated ego and an inability to confront personal shortcomings. When a young athlete spends their entire developmental life hearing that they are an elite prodigy who can do no wrong, they develop a mental blind spot that actively rejects constructive criticism. They convince themselves that their arm talent, mobility, and natural instincts will automatically compensate for sloppy mechanics, poor footwork, and slow decision-making. They buy into their own marketing until the harsh reality of professional defensive schemes tears their game apart. When reporters asked Shedeur to evaluate his performance after just 3 days of training camp, the table was set for him to deliver a standard, self-assured soundbite about how comfortable he felt and how quickly he was picking up the offensive system. Instead, his answer completely caught the room off guard with its unexpected level of transparency. He openly stated that he still has glaring flaws in his game that demand immediate attention and correction. He did not attempt to highlight his best throws or paint a rosy picture of perfection. Instead, he made it clear that his entire mental energy was focused on hunting down his mistakes, cleaning up his mechanics, and eliminating bad habits one day at a time. For an athlete who has spent years in the center of the modern social media spotlight, where displaying any hint of vulnerability is often viewed as weakness, offering that kind of unprompted self-critique is remarkably rare. Objective self-evaluation is arguably the most difficult psychological hurdle for any elite competitor to overcome. It demands that a player completely strip away their pride and review their performance with ruthless, clinical objectivity. When Shedeur openly acknowledges that his footwork needs refinement or that his post-snap reads must become faster, he tears down the communication barriers between himself and the coaching staff.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
He is signaling to his instructors that he is eager to be coached, corrected, and pushed past his comfort zone. That willingness to embrace constructive feedback completely alters an athlete's developmental trajectory. A quarterback who believes he has already reached his peak will inevitably remain stagnant, while a player who treats every single practice as an urgent opportunity to fix a specific technical flaw will experience rapid, exponential growth. In a league where opposing defensive coordinators spend dozens of hours every week designing schemes specifically to target and exploit your mechanical weaknesses, this level of humble self-awareness serves as the ultimate competitive armor. But maintaining that humble mindset becomes infinitely more complicated when your family name is synonymous with sports royalty. Carrying the name of a legendary, Hall of Fame sports icon creates an environment of intense, suffocating pressure that very few athletes will ever experience. Ever since he first stepped onto a football field, Shedeur Sanders has had to perform directly under the massive shadow of his father, Deion Sanders. Every success was celebrated, but it was also relentlessly scrutinized by skeptics who claimed his opportunities were handed to him solely because of his famous lineage. The cameras followed him relentlessly from high school championships to the massive media spectacle at Jackson State in Colorado. When his father appeared at the training camp facility, reporters immediately leaped at the chance to explore the storyline, asking Shedeur how his father's presence affected his mindset and whether that family dynamic provided an extra emotional cushion during practice. Shedeur's response was a textbook example of advanced psychological compartmentalization. He did not disrespect his family or dismiss the importance of his father, speaking with genuine warmth about how great it was to see him after spending months apart during the summer break. But then, he drew a hard, unyielding line between his personal life and his professional responsibilities on the field. He stated unequivocally that once he steps between the white lines on the practice field, absolutely nothing else matters. The famous name, the family legacy, and the outside noise are completely shut out the moment it is time to work. Being able to mentally detach from personal life and isolate professional focus in that manner is a rare discipline for a young athlete operating under a national microscope. This ability to compartmentalize pressure is essential for long-term survival in professional sports. If a quarterback enters the pocket carrying the heavy weight of family expectations or worrying about outside public perceptions, their cognitive processing becomes cluttered. Reading complex, disguised defensive coverages requires instantaneous, split-second decisions that leave no room for mental distraction. By establishing a firm emotional wall between his family life and his operational duties on the gridiron, Shedeur proves that he does not rely on his father's reputation as a mental crutch. He is stepping forward as an independent professional who is fully prepared to sink or swim on his own merits. He understands completely that when a pass rusher is closing in from the blind side, a famous last name will not slow down the hit. Only meticulous preparation, clean mechanics, and decisive pocket movement will allow him to deliver the football accurately. That relentless dedication to individual preparation directly shapes how he approaches the intellectual demands of quarterback play. In modern football analysis, observers frequently make the mistake of overvaluing raw arm strength and flashy athletic traits. Highlight reels constantly showcase quarterbacks launching passes 60 yards down the field or making desperate, off-platform throws while scrambling away from pressure. Yet, the history of the sport proves that relying exclusively on physical gifts is a recipe for a very brief professional career. Elite arm talent might get a player drafted in the early rounds, but cognitive processing speed, pattern recognition, and intellectual discipline are the only traits that determine whether that player will remain an effective starter over the course of a decade. When a seasoned defense disguises its coverage, rotates its safeties right at the snap, and brings exotic blitz packages, arm strength is completely useless if the quarterback mind cannot identify the open receiver in under 2 seconds. During his press availability, Shedeur skipped past the usual athletic cliches and dove straight into the mechanics of pre-snap and post-snap recognition. He spoke in detail about spending extensive time reviewing film from his past experiences, analyzing every single mental error he committed, and studying how to read defensive fronts with greater accuracy. He explained that facing a defensive unit in practice that constantly shows confusing, deceptive alignments is the best possible environment for his growth, because it forces his eyes and brain to process information at an accelerated pace. Rather than relying on playground instincts to make plays, he is deliberately training his mental computer so that complex defensive schemes become clear and predictable. This is the precise language used by the most cerebral, championship-caliber quarterbacks to ever play the game. Shedeur offered a deeply insightful comment when he explained that he plays his best football and feels most confident when he has all available information at his command. He detailed how his daily routine is structured around gathering data, studying opponent tendencies, and understanding the exact responsibilities of all 11 offensive players on the field. In the professional ranks, there are two distinct categories of quarterbacks. There are the players who want to be the most physically talented athletes on the field, and there are the thinkers who want to be the most informed minds in the building. History shows repeatedly that information-driven quarterbacks enjoy longer, more consistent, and more resilient careers because mental mastery allows the game to slow down for them while it speeds up for everyone else. When a quarterback knows where the defensive vulnerability lies before the ball is even snapped, physical limitations fade away and execution becomes second nature. This thirst for mental mastery is directly connected to how he handles the complex communication demands of a pro-style offense. One of the most difficult adjustments for any young quarterback making the leap from college football to the professional ranks is mastering the verbal communication required at the line of scrimmage. In the modern collegiate game, many offenses rely almost entirely on sideline signal boards, hand gestures, and lightning-fast tempo that requires minimal verbal command from the quarterback. When those same passers enter a pro-style system, they are suddenly tasked with executing a vast vocabulary of snap cadences designed to manipulate defensive alignments, draw defensive linemen off sides, and disguise the snap count across a variety of formations. When reporters brought up a comment from a football legend, noting that a quarterback must be able to execute up to 10 distinct cadences in a single game plan, Shedeur's response revealed a surprisingly mature, philosophical perspective. Instead of complaining about the mental load or describing the extensive playbook as an overwhelming grind, Shedeur reframed the entire challenge around the concept of personal sacrifice. He explained that mastering complex operational details is not a matter of physical difficulty, but rather a calculation of what you are willing to give up in your personal life to maintain the mental bandwidth required to retain that information. If an athlete fills their free time with outside business ventures, social media distractions, and late-night nightlife, their brain simply runs out of storage capacity for complex offensive playbooks. Shedeur views his mental bandwidth as a finite, precious resource that must be protected and spent exclusively on mastering his professional responsibilities. That advanced level of self-management is exceptionally rare for an athlete at the beginning of his career. Equally revealing was his total refusal to dwell on his past accomplishments at the college level. When asked to compare the operational complexity of his current offense to what he ran back at Colorado, he completely shut down the nostalgic line of questioning. He stated bluntly that he does not look back at his college highlights, does not spend time reminiscing about past achievements, and does not care about what he did yesterday, because none of those past touchdowns will help his current team win a single game tomorrow. For a player whose entire national profile exploded through viral college highlights, deliberately severing his emotional connection to that past demonstrates extreme competitive maturity. He recognizes that college accolades mean absolutely nothing once you step into an NFL huddle. He is consciously hitting the reset button on his career, starting from ground zero, and earning every single repetition through daily execution rather than relying on past hype. But this intense mental focus was about to face its ultimate test when reporters brought up the massive controversy surrounding the starting quarterback role. Locker room chemistry in professional sports is an extremely delicate balance, but few situations carry more potential for internal division than a high-profile rookie operating directly behind an established veteran starter who holds a massive, fully guaranteed contract. The sheer financial investment and relentless scrutiny surrounding the starting quarterback position Create an environment where the media is constantly looking for any sign of friction. The reporters inside the press room leaned forward when a journalist asked Shedeur directly if he views every single practice rep as a head-to-head race against the veteran starter, keeping an internal scorecard of who is winning the daily battle. It was the ultimate bait question, engineered specifically to extract a headline that could create an instant divide between the two quarterbacks. Shedeur handled the moment with absolute perfection. He did not flinch, he showed no irritation, and he refused to give the media even a fraction of what they wanted. He calmly pointed out that he had answered that exact question dozens of times, dismissing the premise of the question entirely and moving the press conference forward. He firmly stated that the idea of an internal competition is a narrative manufactured by outside observers and media members, while the players inside the building are strictly focused on personal execution and collective improvement. By shutting down the question with quiet authority, he protected the locker room from external controversy and ensured that no unnecessary wedge could be driven between himself and the rest of the quarterback room. This level of professional poise under direct provocation demonstrates a profound understanding of team politics. If Shedeur had allowed his personal ambition to slip into his public comments, even by hinting that he felt he was outperforming the veteran, it would have created an immediate rift across the roster. Veteran players would be forced to take sides, the coaching staff would face endless questions from reporters, and the entire organization would be engulfed in unnecessary drama. By keeping his personal goals private and presenting himself purely as a team-first professional, he preserved the unity of the locker room. Whether he privately believes he should be starting is completely irrelevant. What matters is that in public, he acts with absolute discipline, ensuring that the focus remains entirely on daily execution rather than speculative power struggles. This discipline prevents outside chaos from entering the facility, allowing the team to focus purely on football. Yet, beneath this rigid professional armor, there is still a genuine human being who seeks authentic connection with the men around him. Behind the corporate media training, rigorous film study, and tactical execution, professional athletes are still human beings trying to navigate an intense, high-pressure working environment. A quarterback who behaves like an unapproachable machine will always struggle to build the deep emotional bonds that inspire teammates to fight for him when adversity strikes. When the press conference moved away from strategic schemes and turned toward his personal relationships with rookie receivers like Casey and Denzel Boston, Shedeur's guarded demeanor completely softened. His face lit up, and he offered a rare, vulnerable glimpse into what life is actually like behind the scenes for a high-profile young athlete. He openly admitted that the offseason can be an isolating and lonely period. When an athlete lives under constant public scrutiny, where everyone seems to want something from them, building and maintaining authentic friendships becomes nearly impossible. Shedeur shared how much he genuinely missed being inside the facility, explaining that returning to the building and being surrounded by his teammates gave him a renewed sense of purpose. Being part of a locker room where dozens of men are aligned toward a single, shared goal provides a brotherhood that cannot be found anywhere else in life. That honest admission was remarkably refreshing. It proved that despite his wealth, commercial fame, and famous lineage, he still deeply values the simple camaraderie and connection that comes with being part of a team. That authentic appreciation for his teammates was just as evident when he spoke about the offensive line. Shedeur spoke with genuine enthusiasm about the diverse personalities across the offensive front, emphasizing how much he enjoys their unique energy and how it creates a positive vibe throughout the building. A quarterback who truly respects and embraces his offensive linemen is a quarterback who will earn their ultimate loyalty on game day. When an offensive tackle knows that the man standing in the pocket genuinely values him as a brother rather than just a pass protector, that lineman will fight through exhaustion to keep him clean. Shedeur demonstrated that exact same grounded perspective when asked about the massive crowds of young fans chanting his name outside the practice gates. Instead of letting the cheers inflate his ego, he thoughtfully acknowledged the sacrifices made by the parents waiting in the heat, while immediately reminding himself that fan praise does not win football games. That unique ability to balance genuine human warmth with relentless competitive focus is what turns talented prospects into true franchise leaders. The entire narrative surrounding Shedeur Sanders has long been dominated by flashy headlines, commercial brands, and family legacy, but his conduct inside the building reveals an entirely different competitor. By shutting down media bait, dedicating his extra hours to building trust with every receiver, and showing the rare humility to attack his own flaws, Shedeur is proving that he possesses the exact mental foundation required to succeed at the highest level. He has consciously erased his past college glory, choosing instead to focus completely on procedural mastery, cognitive processing, and locker room unity. Whether he steps onto the field as the starter tomorrow or continues to develop his craft behind closed doors, his calculated mindset proves that he is built to endure the harshest pressures professional sports can bring. This is the type of deep, unfiltered football analysis you will not find anywhere else on the internet. If you are serious about understanding the real mental battles, the strategic masterclasses, and the raw stories that truly shape the game from the inside out, you need to be part of what we are building here. Make sure to subscribe to Gridiron Ground right now, turn on your notifications, and become an official member of a community that refuses to settle for surface-level sports talk. True football minds understand that championships are built on discipline, not hype. Lock in, stay sharp, and we will see you right here on the next breakdown on Gridiron Ground. If you're enjoying our Browns and Shedeur Sanders coverage, hit that subscribe button and be part of the journey. Let's build this community together.